If you can put in there, just type whatever your intention is for our time together. I'd love to get a sense of what that is for you guys, right? So clarity, love it. So learning, signs. Oh my God, you guys you're fast typers. I'm a fast talker. You guys are fast typers. I can't even read it. So I can see there's a sense of learning in there. There's a sense of clarity, which is great. Exploring lots of clarity, removing blocks. So I can see we've got some themes for sure there. Now, let's kind of set our energy because we're in energetic space. Now, I'll give you a tip. I'm going to teach you the whole way through this, and those that are really attuned are going to notice every time I do that. It's not always going to be obvious, and some of you it's going to slip straight over your head. We're about to start, so I'm going to give you the one and only prompt that I'm starting teaching now. Put your feet on the ground, ensure that your feet are flat as they can be. Right, so we're getting nice and grounded, and we're going to really calibrate our energy before we start. Make sure you are comfortable, right? So if you're laying or sitting, make yourself nice and comfortable. We're going to consider our state, right? So we're going to do that. So we're going to take some deep breaths in to ensure that we are in a nice energetic space before we really lean into this. So take a deep breath in as if you're breathing in through your heart, this magical space here. Pull the air up into your head and beyond. Go as far as you want to go. Then when we breathe out, we're going to breathe out whatever is natural for you and pushing your energy out as you breathe out. So breathe in and breathe out. Do it again. Breathe in. Remember pulling it up. Breathe out. Do it again. Breathe out. And do it one last time. Holding the intention that you typed or you felt in you. Connect into it in your heart space. What is that intention? And allow that to fill the core of you, whatever that intention is. There. Energy nice and set for our time together. When I've been working with people over the many years that I've done this, there's a couple of things that show up really common for people that are wanting to develop their mediumship skills, that are keeping them in a space that stops them from moving forward there. Self-doubt is one of them. So they doubt themselves, they doubt what they're picking up, they doubt their connection there. They're not knowing if what they're receiving, the information that they're getting, if it is accurate or not, right? So they can't discern that. They lack the ability to be able to connect on demand and hold a strong connection. They don't have the technical skills that's required to get specific details from spirit. And they don't have a methodology to strengthen or repeat whatever connections they have had there. If this sounds really familiar, any of these things, know that you really are in the right place tonight there. Because when we know how to connect properly, we can connect for ourselves. We can help ourselves with communicating with those that we love that are in spirit, but we can also help and heal others there. We can deliver clear, accurate information, really heartfelt messages that make a big difference to people's lives. For those that feel drawn, they can also work in the industry and live a life that feels far more purposeful by doing so. So I want to ask you a question, and once again, I would love to see a response in the chat. Remember that engagement piece. What's the hardest part for you in your mediumship development journey, whether it's you're at a beginning stage, you're intermediary or advanced? I don't really mind where you are, What is the challenge for you in developing your abilities? So type away so I can see. Understanding the messages, discernment, trust, yep, self-doubt, connection. Trust is a theme there. Trust and self-doubt are very similar. Being a beginner. I see it over and over again. People think it is ability. It's really structure.
Okay.
It's not knowing the process there. The blocks are really obvious. So some of the things that you put there, they're really obvious blocks. Self-doubt, not trusting yourself, overthinking, trying to make something a logical, putting logic around things. You get something and then you're going to question it, right? Is this resonating? Like wave at me, Muppet hands, if it is, right? Yeah. The real issue with this is knowing the difference between what's your and coming through your imagination space and what is actually a connection to spirit there. Because
Mm.
when we get them mixed up, uh, what happens in there, we lose our pure channel. We can accidentally bring through inaccurate information, and we can also connect to the wrong spirit, not the one that the person wants. Message is going to be vague and generic, and our confidence will drop in that space. Does it sound familiar? Any of that? Right? It's a normal thing, right? And sometimes we're going to assume that we're not really a medium. Like this is where that doubt kicks in there. When I was developing, and I grew up as a child, at 7 years old, I connected to my grandfather when he passed. He was my person. I grew up in the bush. And when he passed, it was like, oh, I've lost my best friend, right? But the great thing for me was that I could still see and hear him and have connection with him. And I shared that with my family. I was raised Catholic and in the bush, and so church was a thing, right? It was a social event, not only a ritual. And so my family, as a young child, when I would share these things, they told me to stop. As a young child, still developing who I was and my identity, I processed that and I was told to stop because I was scaring my family. So I internalized that is that I scare my family and my voice is scary for people, and it created a whole different trajectory for me as a result of those comments. Uh, they didn't really, my family didn't know what they were doing. Uh, but it changed the way I showed up. And so I kept everything a secret and all my experiences, I kept them to me. They didn't stop. I just maneuvered through life not knowing who I was because of where I lived, because there was no one else like me around. And based on my age, I'm nearly 57, so there was only two TV channels where I lived, so there was no shows or anything like this around. So I had no points of reference of who I was and what I did. I just knew I had experiences that people told me that weren't real. Anyone else had experience like that where sounding like if any of this resonates, like, yeah, I walked that path too, Bronwyn, like because I know that I'm not the only one that has walked a path like that. But as I sort of maneuvered through life, I discovered who I was and that it had a name and there were other people like me when I was a lot older. And then went on a journey to understand what that looked like. And I went on that journey, and that journey was inspired by my son because he's just like me. He's just more, right? And which meant that I had to lift my game, right? Because I was a very vanilla medium, and he's like a whole nother ball game. And so that's where my development started in that space. And when I was learning, I was chucked in classes, he was with me, and I was just there as his guardian, and I wasn't actually going to learn for myself at all. My intention was never to read for anyone else. Definitely wasn't to be able to share my knowledge because I was happy, in corporate world doing that. Right? I was thriving. Like I was pretty good at that, frankly. I was the youngest senior manager that there was at the time in that banking industry. I did pretty well. So I was pretty happy with that. Uh, but universe had a different trajectory for me, and I fought it. I fought it well and truly. I've gone through life kicking and screaming. It's pretty much how I roll. Um, I've learned to surrender a little bit more over the last few years. But in that development space, once I realized, oh, this is kind of cool, I kind of want to be able to support my kid in a more conscious way. So I needed to understand who I was. And so there I was like, what do I want? I want my connection. If I want to be able to talk to my loved ones in spirit, I want it to be clear. I want it to be concise. I don't want to be a jumbled mess. I want to be able to understand what I'm receiving and I want to be able to do it when I want to do it. I'm a Scorpio. I'm kind of demanding that way. It's like I'm headstrong, right? So I want to be able to talk to dead people when I want to talk to them, not just when they want to be able to talk to me. So this is what I wanted. It's not what I had going on for me by any stretch of the imagination. My teacher didn't. She's a fabulous lady, awesome heart. I love her to death, right? Because she's so critical to where I am. But she wasn't what I needed at that point in time. She gave me no exercise. She gave me no methodology. I'm really analytical. I need structure. I need to understand how things work. I was just told to do. I'm like, how? Like that's not going to work for me. I'm science based. I need to understand the mechanics of things there. So it took me a very, very long time to understand what was working and how I worked there. I wanted this clear, quick, easy connection. That's what I wanted. What I learned over the years as I was developing was that mediumship had a structure. I needed to understand the difference between psychic and mediumship. I needed to understand how to get a quick connection, how to identify exactly who was coming through, how to get specific messages. The other thing too, right? I'm a skeptic. Makes this chair really interesting for those 400 readings I do every year. Right. As a skeptic, without a doubt, but it means that I push a little bit harder, a little bit further in that space. So that's what I wanted. That's what I needed to understand. And over the years, that's what I've unlocked there. So there's no more guessing there. I do truly trust everything that I get without a doubt. And I have an awareness of what life is and what's beyond life, beyond anything that I could comprehend. And my desire is to be able to show that to others so they have the opportunity to be able to live a life like what I do. Because when we understand what life is and what life isn't, the amount of joy that you can feel no matter what you are experiencing is next level. Totally next level. And so this is the thing that lights me up and keeps me going. It's like I want to be able to gift that to whoever comes in my world there. When we don't do our readings properly, we are going to hurt people unintentionally. We're going to mislead them. We're going to, as I said, bring through spirits that they may not want to talk to. We're going to miss the connections that they want there. When it's done properly, we can bring through evidence to identify who we are communicating with and have real confidence in what we're doing, even if our sitter doesn't remember what we're talking about there and then. Right. The other thing that I've worked out through mediumship is what's actually involved and how much your sitter and the impact that they have to the readings. So I understand the psychology of myself, how it impacts that, but also the psychology of our sitters and that impact that they bring in there. So I want to share the magic of a reading with you. If you'll indulge me a little bit, I'll share a little story. As I said, I do a lot of readings, and some of them I find totally mind-blowing in the experience. And this is why I keep showing up and doing them and squishing them in my world, right? Because it is a little bit of a squish sometimes to fit them in. But the magic of them keeps me coming back and continuing to do them, right? As I said, it was never something that I really wanted to do, and I didn't want to read for strangers. It was never a goal for me. But once I understood how profound readings could be, that motivated me to do it. I had a connection, and a young child came through in spirit. And I was working with the child's parents. They were both having the reading. They had traveled a long way, many, many hours to sit with me for a 45-minute, and then they were going to travel a long way to go home. So there was a lot of responsibility in that connection. The young child came through, and very clearly he came in waving some shoes and talking about his shoelaces, and brought through and showed me a whole picture about how he had transitioned. Sadly, this young boy, which is a very gifted child that was starting, starting, even though very young, to make a big impact on the world. Uh, he lived on a farm, and there was an accident, and that accident uh, that caused his passing. And the grief of that really sat heavy on his parents because one parent was taking responsibility for it. And in this reading, this young child explained exactly what he did when he got out of the car and what happened and why the accident occurred. That allowed the person that was holding the heaviest amount of grief and responsibility to truly appreciate that they did nothing at all that impacted the passing of this child. The child was young, they were distracted, their shoelaces were undone. They bent down to do their shoelaces up and they got bumped by a vehicle. The healing that was able to be bestowed on the parents through that child expressing exactly what had happened allowed them to understand pieces of the event that they didn't know. So sometimes these readings will fill in blanks that help. And yes, it is traumatic. Loss of anyone is, but particularly those that are younger. But readings will allow us to understand from those that are now transitioned pieces of a puzzle that we don't always have. And so in that magic of that reading, but he went on and the most amazing things occurred in that reading was because he also acknowledged what the parents had done, what was his resting place, what that looked like. It was so unique and so special, and it was handmade, and all the things that they had done since he had passed to honor him. And so it demonstrated, not only filled in gaps in regards to what happened when he passed, but to show that he is around because he knew exactly what they had done, the special handmade memorial box that he was in, all the things that they were doing. So that example shows me, and I've had many of them, where our loved one, when they pass, they don't leave us. They never do. In actual fact, sometimes they become like your very own stalker, if you're wondering, because they walk beside you so much and they don't miss anything. So this is an interesting thing, guys. Think about this. They can see, hear, feel, know all the things that sit within you. Now, I think about my parents, they're still with me, unless something's happened recently in the last hour or so. They're not communicating to me through spirit, so I assume they're still alive. But I think about the things that I don't tell them. And I'm like, oh my. When they're dead, there's going to be no secrets because they know everything that you feel, all the fears, all the pains, everything that you carry within you. They have they have an awareness of it. They miss nothing at all. So think about that. Reflect on the secrets that you've got there. So let's get teaching moment again. I'm giving you another clue. If you've got a pen and paper, write this stuff down. I've already given you a connection piece. Right, I'm not going to remind you from now on. Right, guys. So this is the interesting thing. The difference between psychic and mediumship. Psychic, and sometimes it gets muddled in the industry, right? So people will say they might book a reading and they book psychic, but they really want mediumship. They think clairvoyance is psychic, but clairvoyance is a skill that you have. So things get muddled, right? And it gets muddled because of media and the way people label themselves. So a psychic reading is where we're reading the energy of someone that is alive. So the energy that comes out of their field, right? So out of their, some people call it an aura. Those that are sciencey like me, it's a bioelectronic magnetic field. It's a lot of words. That you can just call it field for short. There, it's energy. A field is on an object, on an animal, on a person. So you can read all those things. You can read a room. Now, we are also putting it on a timeline. So if we don't put it on a timeline and we don't make it specific, it's intuition. So a psychic reading is where we put it on a timeline, past, present, future, specific details. It is a story of a timeline about someone. That's what psychic is. Mediumship is the connection with someone that no longer has a body, right? It is the bridge between this world and the next. And when we do mediumship, we embody the frequency of spirit. It actually feels like we're experiencing it. It's like every cell of us lights up with whatever is going on. Whereas psychic's like reading a book compared to that. So one's like reading a book, the other one's like being in a virtual reality game. So mediumship is so much more. Now, here's our challenge. If we don't know how it feels to do mediumship, that embodiment, we can inadvertently, due to lack of training or dropping of connection, project that we are doing mediumship, but really it is psychic. Because if you're reading someone's energy and you're talking about their loved one in spirit, and you're like describing them and know what they look like and so on and so on and so on, and your client's going, yes, 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 and you're going to think, oh, I'm doing great. Look at me, right? They're getting all these yeses. You could be reading their aura because they know their mum. They know her personality. They know what she looks like. They know how she passed. So unless you know how to set yourself up correctly so you're not inadvertently connecting psychically, you could project yourself as doing mediumship when you're not really. And you might not realize that, but it is where a reading then becomes unethical. And so knowing how that we connect properly and how to set ourselves up for success is critical. The other thing, who's scared of getting something wrong if they're doing a connection, if they're talking to someone in spirit and they get something wrong? The person says no. Anyone, or is it just me sometimes? A no is fabulous. We look for a no. I love it when I get a no. A no is awesome because when someone says no to me, they go, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 whatever they say. I then know that no, under any circumstances, am I reading the person's energy? Because they said no, they don't know it. The best mediumship that you can ever have is where someone says no, they don't understand. You go and tell them to check with someone that would possibly know the answer. They come back to you and go, oh, I didn't know that. That conversation was only ever had between Dad and my brother. My brother never told me. Dad's now in spirit. My brother's told me that that's true. It's the best mediumship you can get. So we never get scared of a no, ever. So remember that we are looking for a no there. Now you can learn through books. Who's read any mediumship books? Right? It's not going to get you where you need to be. YouTube is only going to help you to a point. It's not going to get you exactly where you need to be. Because here's the thing. You need to know how to hold a strong connection that you can able to do this for 45 minutes to 60 minutes. Sometimes you can even do it longer. I've done a connection for as long as 4 hours, not recommending it. But you can hold a connection for a very, very long time there. Now, if you were able to hold your connection with spirit, and you could get accurate information, how would it change either your readings or your life? What would change for you if you could do that? Let me know. Amazing. Yeah, it would, Helena. That's right. Confidence, trust, validation. It changes everything. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that either. It changes your work, but it changes you and it changes the way that you look at everything. It really does. Receiving validation from my son and little dog. Yeah. Here's the thing. Whether it be your loved ones in spirit or whoever you're trying to connect with in spirit are always trying to communicate to you. The thing is, it's happening quite often outside your awareness, outside your consciousness. You haven't been taught how to observe uh, what's occurring automatically, occurring via your unconscious mind. You haven't been taught how to observe the brain, the neurology of a connection, or even the nervous system and how your nervous system is part of the translation of energy. I had a student, her name was Noah, and she had studied elsewhere for a couple of years and can't remember how she found me, but she came and she did the mediumship course, The Eternal Soul. She was looking for depth in her readings. She knew she had some gaps in where she had studied elsewhere. She wanted some structure and grounding. And she said to me after, because the course goes for 4 months, and she said after a couple of months, she said the amount of depth that she had, she didn't think that it was possible for her. She said, but the real magic was that I now knew how to have a conversation with spirit. It's actually a conversation, backwards and forwards, like we have with bodies. That's what it should be. Receiving real messages there that make sense. It all comes down to understanding your nervous system and how your unconscious mind works. No more second guessing around how this works at all there. Understanding your body and having body awareness is really important in the connection piece too there. When we don't have body awareness and we don't understand our nervous system, you're going to miss on how you're translating vibration from spirit that comes through in a sensory way. If they're giving you aches and pains, their cause of passing, their emotions, you're not going to be able to pick it up. You're going to miss it. Spirit is always making themselves known that they're around. Right. So I'll share another story with you. And I share these with you so you have an awareness of what they're capable of doing, because people downplay what they're capable of. So I had a daughter with me. I had father in spirit, and I sometimes ask them all kinds of random questions because I like to explain or demonstrate how they show up where they are still part of our lives. So I was asking this father this, right? How do you demonstrate that you are still around? He showed me his finger on the toilet button. And I said to him, I treat spirit just like, once again, here's another teaching thing. I treat spirit just like I would you. If you told me that I don't treat them differently, right? Treat them the same. I said, what are you doing? That's really weird. Why would you be showing me that? And I explained it to the door. I said, he's pushing the button. He's doing this. And she said, Mum rang me when I was at work yesterday and said the toilet wouldn't stop running. The dad was letting himself known that he was around by pushing the toilet button. He was showing that he was still there. She was babysitting the children, the grandchildren. So know that spirit can do a lot of things. They're going to show that they're always around, is what they're going to do. Now, when we are working with spirit, it is about, as I said, conversation, going backwards and forwards and knowing the questions to be able to ask them to get the information from them, unraveling and unpacking what they are sharing there. If you don't know how to ask the right questions, you're not going to get the right answers. Who thinks that they just have to take what spirit gives them? I just receive whatever they give me, whatever they tell me, I'm going to be grateful for it. I'm happy that they're talking to me. That. You actually can have a conversation with them. Ask them questions. Be open for them to be able to share whatever they want to share, how they want to share it as you go through this. Your mind, your body, and your spirit are part of the connection. Right? It is not just energy coming into you. Your brain is part of it. Your nervous system is part of it. Your vagus nerve is critical. Who resets their vagus nerve? Anyone? If you've worked with me before, and some of you have, you'd be like, yes, because I know, because you nag me and tell me I have to, because that's the superhighway for information. Right? I know it to be true because I know what I say to you guys. Right? But if you don't, you need to do that. Right? Because if you don't reset your vagus nerve, then the information, the way it flows up and down into the brain, there's three components of your brain that are part of this processing, it will not flow properly. Right? Because, as I said, your brain is part of it there. So, how do we interpret messages from spirit? Now we know we use our psychic senses, it's all part of it. Hear, see, feel, know, we've got our smell and taste. They are all part of the translation process. It's not anything different from that. But this is the difference. In psychic readings, there is a lot of symbology in it. In mediumship, it is literal. It's not symbology. In mediumship, you don't need your guide. You're talking straight to spirit. In psychic, you use your guide if you need help to read an aura. You don't need your guide in psychic, sorry, in mediumship. You can ask them if you get stuck to help, but you are doing a soul-to-soul connection, is what it is. Your soul to the soul of the person that is no longer in physical form. That's what it is. Which means anyone can do it because you've all got the toolbox. The toolbox, just in case we need, and I've sprinkled it in here heaps, but just for those that missed it, the toolbox is your body, which has your nervous system in it, your brain, so the unconscious mind and subconscious is part of it. Your conscious mind is also, because we need to discern if it's right or wrong, there's a whole process there. And then we've got the energy that comes out of us. This is all what we use, and your soul. So we can all do it. Your challenge, if you have a challenge, is that your psychology will create a block for you. So when we are doing technical skills and we are developing our technical skills, we also work on our personal development, because that is where your blocks will be. Where anyone that wrote here in regards to self-doubt and trust, that is part of your psychology, and that's what we work on. Because in mediumship, there is no hiding from your personal development, because your blocks will remind you of what it is. And if you don't work on the personal development side, then there will be a direct correlation to how much your skills do or don't elevate, is what happens. So they have to be worked on parallel as you maneuver through this. So when we are connecting and we're getting our messages literal, if spirit shows you a tractor, it is a tractor. Right? It's not whatever whatever you think a tractor means for you, like it would be in psychic. It's a tractor. Right? If they show you something else, a cat or whatever, it's a cat. That's what it is. Right? That's what it's about. So we do not turn it into a story. That's not our job. Once again, when we are delivering these messages, what our job is to do is to deliver it, the pieces of the puzzle, because we don't know spirit and we don't know the relationship with the client. So we're going to deliver what we get, how we get it. The client has the hardest job because they've got to remember and remember it. No memory is true. They have to remember it, and they have to also put it in context for how spirit has shared it. So you are giving pieces of a puzzle, is what you are doing there. Remembering that you can go back to spirit, have a conversation to get more pieces of the puzzle. You can definitely do that. but you are definitely putting a puzzle together, but the client is the one putting the pieces there. You're giving the pieces to the client, and the client is putting the pieces in there. Your job is not to understand it. This is the first time you've met this dead person, right? So you're not going to know their story. It's probably the first time you've met the client. You don't know the dynamics between them. So if you try and make it a story, you're probably going to get it wrong. So you do not make it a story at all. You relay it exactly. You need to know the questions that are the right questions to ask Spirit to be able to get the depth of the message. All right. So we're giving it literal. Once again, guys, teaching, right? Are we writing this down? Are we taking notice? We're giving what we get. We're going back and we're asking Spirit for more information. Your job is not to understand it. Your job is to deliver it. You are just the voice there. And you ask Spirit questions. If you don't understand something, go back to the person, the dead person, not the living person. Ask the dead person for more information. What else do they want to share? Because they're the one that you're conveying their story, right? So you go back to them and ask them. This is a conversation, is what it is there. Remember that you can do that there. You need to take control of the connection there. When we are wanting to get our connection to be more accurate, right? There is a step to this. As I said, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Don't wait there like this, like it's water torture. That's how I was taught. It's like, oh, you get whatever you get, be grateful for it. Whatever spirit turns up, be grateful for it. No, it's not how it works, right? If that's what you think's going to happen, that's what you will receive for sure. But it's not actually how it works there. We need to ask the right questions so we can get the details that we need to be able to identify spirit. Our job is to bring them alive. They are the most alive beings that you will ever encounter. So our job is to demonstrate that with our language. You've got to be great at using words. You've got to be very descriptive in this space. So you can describe everything that you are seeing. When they flood your body with emotion, that you have the language skills to be able to articulate that to the point where the person can almost feel it themselves. There. You also have to be able to let go and surrender. I hate that word. Just so you know, recovering control freak. So surrender is something that I've had to work on. But we have to be able to surrender. And this is really trusting spirit in that space there. Now, how do we do that? I know a heap of people said that self-doubt is a big deal for them. This is another pen and paper moment, right? Just for those that need it really spelt out, because I know some of us do. We have to track where we've got things validated. I've call it track your wins. But you need to document what can be validated as accurate. What you focus on becomes more. So if you are noting down what you are getting validated, what is coming through correct, and you focus on that, don't worry about the things that they can't validate or don't understand, right? Because sometimes it's psychic amnesia. Focus on what is right. So when you then go and do another reading and you're like, I don't know if I can do this, right? And that self-doubt kicks in, you have a document that you can look at and you can go, here's all the times that I have been able to demonstrate my connection. And you're going to look at that every time there. So tracking what you get right will help you with your self-doubt. There. So make sure you do it. It's one of the fastest ways to be able to move through self-doubt is to do that. And it's simple and so effective there. When we are delivering our messages, this is where we have to really go into a heartfelt space. So when we're bringing through messages, we're going to focus and bring that without realizing what happens is you're going to bring a message and go through your filter. This is your psychology. It's going to go through your belief systems. You can't help it, right? Because it's part of the process. And this is why working on surrender is so important, because you have to be able to just say everything that you are getting and have a depth and a within you in the way that you communicate, so you do not water down what spirit says. Imagine, right, that if you knew that the conversation you were having with someone that you care about today was the last conversation you were going to have with someone, right? Imagine what that would be like. What would you say? That's where we have to allow spirit to go, to allow them to be able to create a space where if they want to have a conversation with that profoundness in it, just in case this is the last conversation that these two souls have before they meet again in the same form. As mediums, sometimes we hold ourselves back because it runs through our filter, and we do a discredit in having really heartfelt depth of messages there. So I give you an example. Quite often I see in mediumship readings, and people will go, and this is not untrue, where a spirit will be like, I love you. Yep, great, awesome. Right? Sometimes people have never said that before, so it is really profound. But for someone that has maybe someone that would have always said that when they were alive and they say that now, it's not enough. Because if that was the last thing that they could say, they wouldn't just say, I love you. They would say, I love you because, and here's all the reasons. And I want to remind you of this because I'm not going to get a chance to tell you again for a very long time until we're both together again. Because maybe you'll never have another reading. So remember, if we are in that space and we are going for heartfelt messages, it's that. Imagine if it was the last time that these two connected because the client never had another reading for whatever reason, and Spirit wanted to get through one big message. What would it be? It would be something significant. It wouldn't be something just, I love you. There would be a whole lot of other things that would come after that. So consider where messages fall short. Now, if someone just said, I love you, and they've never said it before, still in that space, when I've experienced that, and as I said, I've done a lot of readings when Spirit will say that, and they go, I love you, and I've had this, I remember I had a father-in-law, or was it an ex-father-in-law, actually, in Spirit, and he said, I love you, and I said, yeah, okay. Right. And I said it to the lady in front of me. I said, oh, yeah, he says he loves you. And she said, on the way here to the reading, her ex drove her to the reading. It was an in-person reading. And she said to him, I wonder if your dad actually ever loved me. So on some occasions, I love you is enough. But from that period onwards, I learned to go, whenever someone said, I love you, I would then ask Spirit, yes, why? I would also look at when they said it, what did it feel like? So now I can tell. So when we're reading Spirit, we not only listen to what they say, what they show us, but we feel what's underneath it because I'm able to determine this Spirit never says this. So when we're working with Spirit, it's not just one surface layer of energy. They will show us things, tell us things, but underneath that, they will give us so much more. So when we're working with Spirit, we don't just look at what they say, what they tell us. We look at all the actions. Absolutely every single thing they do is part of the reading. Whether they hesitate as they go to say that. And we go, ah, you hesitate. So I know when you were alive, it was really hard for you to be able to say these words. And they'll be like, yeah, Dad never said it. Or Mum never said it. And I go, I can tell because as she's doing it now, she's demonstrating that would have been really hard for her when she was here to get it out. But she can get it out now. And she wishes that she said it so much more. And she didn't because. And whatever that is. And in that because sometimes there's a lot of healing to understand why the relationship was the way the relationship was. So when we do a connection, it's never just what's just on the surface. Our job is to see all the layers of the communication because we are to communicate everything that is going on. So in that, it's like, what are we missing? If we don't know what to look for, then we are missing a lot of information. We are missing a lot of personality traits. We are there's a lot of dynamics that made up the relationship. We could be missing communicating that. And we're also missing where the healing sits when we ask spirit, why? Why are you demonstrating this way? Very simple questions that have very significant answers in it. Mediumship has a really practical application. It can heal. It is all about the client. People think it's for spirit. It's not. The connection is actually for those that are left behind to serve them in some way. Spirit doesn't need to make the connection at all. They choose to. They choose to show up. So this is why you can get whoever the client needs, because the client is yearning for whoever, their favorite dead person. We all have them. We all have our favorite dead, right? And we ask for them to come to the readings. Like, please be here, be loud, and, do the thing, right? That's what happens. That pulls them close. We miss the one that the client wants because we're not looking for them. We connect to the ones that are easy, that are safe because of our fears and doubts, is what we're doing. But we can connect to anyone that has a bond to the client, and the stronger the love bond, the easier the connection. It's true. So if you are doing readings or you're doing connections and they are in the safe space, you look at someone and you make a judgment call based on their age of who might be dead, and you look for grandparents, for example, or parents if someone's a certain age, that's playing it safe. There's a whole lot of other people that might be past that are the ones that they want. I remember I had a connection that was, they called in from America, and both their parents showed up. I did that connection. They were loud and that kind of stuff. And then their dog showed up. You can connect to animals. The dog was the one that they wanted. They actually didn't want to talk to mum and dad. They wanted to talk to their dog. The dog that was a stray that they found, that they had to sadly put down due to an injury. They wanted to know, was it okay? Okay with the decision? How did they feel about the replacement dog? That's what they wanted to know. We can't assume anything because we just never know who is the soul that the client wants. So open your scope in who you would be looking for in a mediumship connection. Anything that there is a love bond, soul to soul, you can connect to, including pets. And they're some of the most beautiful readings that can be had, right? Is a pet reading there. So who knows what platform is? Platform mediumship. You can do a show of hands if you do. Platform mediumship is what sometimes is called demonstration. It's where you might see a large group of people, like an audience, and someone on a stage doing those types of connections. Right. Those connections are different to our standard connections. So a standard reading, a one-to-one, is an evidential reading where we go through, we identify spirit, what they look like, how they pass, a whole lot of information, 45 to 60 minutes. Is what it is. Platform is a short one, so it's a very short connection piece. They call it a greeting, not a reading, where someone comes through and we get a message from them. So it's a little bit different, and it's done fairly quickly there. So what I was thinking, just to kind of break up the momentum of me talking at you, right, we might have some fun, unless we don't want to. Right, unless we don't want to, right? So if we're going to play this game, there's a couple of things that we need to be aware of, right? We need to know where our raised hand function is on our computer or phone, right? Great. Jackie, you've tested it. Fabulous. So when you raise your hand, you go to the top of my screen because you take up multiple screens. I cannot see all of you at once. I can only see a small proportion of you. So I've got multiple screens and you're not all there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see who in this space who brought their dead people with them tonight. Right? Here's what I'm going to do. Hope you did, is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go through this. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to be teaching, right, as I do this. It's going to be really short, so bear with me. If it makes sense to you as I bring, I'm going to write things down, as I bring things through, I want you to listen, right? Now, everyone can put their hands down just for the time being, which is awesome. Great. We know that it works, right? If you don't have if you want to engage with me when I talk, you're going to have to put your hand up. So I'm going to, in a sec, start. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to ask some dead people to give me some information. If this information makes sense for someone you know that is no longer here in the physical form, right? You are to put your raised hand up, which is going to pull you to the front of my screen. And then I'm going to want to check with you if you want to work with me, and we're going to see what your loved one has to say. Do we understand the process? Awesome. Right. As I said, it's going to be super fast compared to a traditional reading. So a traditional reading is very different to this. Traditional reading is going to go from 45 minutes to 60 minutes. We're going to have a whole lot of time of identifying our dead people. They're going to tell big conversations. Is what it is. This is not that. This is very short. Right. So invite your dead people to come. Invite them to be allowed because I like to have fun there. Thanks. My dead people come in on this side. I have a structure. Remember, structure is important. They do not run around my room like lunatics. Frankly, sometimes they do, but they're told to stay here. So I'm going to look on this side as I engage with them as there. So that's what I will be doing. Right. Local my angels, God, family spirit, connect with this word, next bring through cleaning, sightseeing, make it clean, positive. Okay, so straight away, once again, I'm teaching as I go, so I'm going to talk through what I'm doing. Thanks. Uh, everyone put their hands down until I start talking, right? If I say things that make sense to you and this is your dead person, you need to then put your hand up. Thanks. Thanks. I'm hearing the word brother. I'm also, so I know this person is a brother. Thanks. Oh, right. I'm going to write it down because there's a couple. So I've got brother. Thanks. I also aware of, I hear the word Mark, so that they would have a linking name that is starting with M, or their name is Mark, or they know someone that is Mark because they're making me aware of that. Thanks. They're also making me aware. Thank you. Oh, thanks. What is that? All right. Okay. I know that they have, thank you. Thanks. Thanks. And they're making me aware of passing suddenly because they're making me aware of this. So that we've got a brother, Mark or M name makes sense, and they've passed suddenly, right? These things need to make sense for you. There. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. They're also making me aware, thanks. They're talking about a lot of discomfort here as they're doing this. And I'm aware of here is also challenging as they try and breathe here. So I'm aware that this is to do with passing, right? So thank you. Thanks. They're also making me aware that this is tragic and they're taking ownership for their passing, right? Does this make so for everyone that's got their hand up, this needs to make all these things need to make sense, right? So I'm going to recover them. They are a brother, they are your brother. They have passed and they're taking responsibility for their passing. They have passed quickly in this space, and the M or Mark is tied to their name, right? This is all part of who they are. Thanks. Thank you. Now, if any of that doesn't make sense, put your hand down so I can work out who I am drawn to. Thank you. Thanks. All right. Now, everyone that's got their hand up, listen to the information, because what spirit does is one spirit will represent multiple spirits in their communication. So know that this is what they do. Thank you. Thanks. All right. I ask him to come in and hang on. I actually am asking him to hold my hand and things. He can be, it's interesting. So as I ask him to, can you come in and hold my hand? He's like, oh, and he's a little bit, I'm gonna say, can be a little bit, he's a little bit nervous as I ask him that to do that. Thanks. So as I get him to come in. So I just want to thanks. So um, he can see who's on the screen. Thank you. Michelle, can I ask you to unmute? And everyone else, I want them to listen.
Yes.
Right.
Unmuted.
Great. So does this make sense to you, what I've just said?
Yes, not my brother though, but I'm wondering, was my mum's brother. He died of a heart attack very suddenly. And
Okay.
I'm the M, which is Michelle.
Right. So just it doesn't it doesn't feel right to me. Because it's a male name.
Okay.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, because he gave me the reference mark, right? So
wow, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. But listen to the message, right? So this has to make sense to you. Only keep your hand up if it is Mark or a male M name that is passed suddenly. He's the reason why he's in spirit, right? He's taken actions that have got him there, and it's passed suddenly, right? So in that space. Now, thank you. If I've asked you to unmute, Alina.
Yes.
Right.
I would like to understand if you see someone from my family, for example, my father or
No,
my grandmother.
not sorry, Alina. I'm trying to find the owner of this person. Right. So that's not what we're doing. So please forgive me. Trish, it has to match perfectly.
Yep,
Right?
it does.
Okay.
Michael,
Fabulous.
my brother, died of a heart attack.
Okay. And thank you. And would it make sense that when I say thank you, thanks. And you've also got someone, he has an older female with him in spirit?
My mum.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can I work with you?
Yes, thank you, Bronwyn.
Thank you. I'm just going to just want to put you so I can see you. So because he said the word mum, thanks. And would you understand too that in this, thank you, he's acknowledging, thanks, that he would be he's not always the most confident, or if he's in a space where there's a lot of people, he's a little bit nervous about the crowd.
Possibly.
Right. Because he's making me aware of that, or he hasn't done a connection before like this. Right. Because there's this. Okay, so I'm telling you that he's a little bit nervous. So will either be because he's either takes a little while to get to know someone, and so that's the trepidation piece, or because he's just standing back a little bit there. Would you understand too? Thank you. Thanks. That in this, yeah. When I ask him, he's also making me aware he wants to acknowledge the rest of the family because he's talking about the rest of the family that he wants to acknowledge, thanks. And he's also making me aware too, thanks. He said the word birthday, so I know he's acknowledging that coming up too. And he's pointing to the screen, so he's talking about someone there that's had a birthday that he wants to talk about that is in his family. Does that make sense to you?
Birthday's in July.
Not his, not his birthday.
No. There was two birthdays in July.
Okay,
yep.
Right. So for those people, can you make sure that you pass on that he has acknowledged their birthday?
Possibly, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks. Would you also, thank you. He's also making me aware too, thank you. Thanks. You need to come down. He's also talking about his hair, and he's making me aware of his hair, and he's actually going like this with it, right? So does it make sense, right? Because he's showing me his hair's not short, it's got a little bit of length to it.
No, I can't validate that. He was actually bald. Sorry.
Okay. When he was younger, because his hair he's showing me his hair, and it's got a bit of wave to it, and it's shorter. It's about this long, right? Because he's not showing me the age that he passed now. He's showing me that.
Okay. He had when he was very young, he had a thick head of hair.
Right. Yeah. And would you understand too that him talking about his color of his eyes and making me really aware of these eyes standing out, right? So does he got lighter colored eyes?
No, I had dark eyes.
Yeah, we was talking about his eyes. It's really standing out. Normally to me, that's blue.
Okay.
Right there. Thank you. Would you understand too, thank you, that in his, thanks, that he's talking about his, and I ask him why he's shown up, he's making me aware that it's important not only to acknowledge the birthdays, but he's also talking about, thank you, the move that is coming up, and he points to the screen as he does that, right? So he's acknowledging someone that is moving house, that he's talking about this coming up. Thanks. Has he got, so not you, but is there younger people in your world that are moving, about to move house, buy a house, they're moving house?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, I'm aware that this is happening. I'm seeing this happen.
Thank you.
Is what he's talking about there. Thanks. When it's important for him to also, I said, why are you the one that pushed through? Because I could actually feel a few other people there. He's like, I'm actually here. And when he says, I'm actually here to introduce mum. So I'm aware of the connection, and bringing mum forward is really important for him as he does that. Thanks. Because mum, he's got this quite, like a normal son guardianship over mum. Like there's a real protection piece as he
Yep.
brings her in there, because mum comes in, and she comes in as if she's older when she
Yep.
passed, not younger, and a
That's
little
right.
bit more fragile and elderly.
Absolutely.
And needing this guidance there. Thanks.
Sure.
And as she comes into, she's actually, thank you, her acknowledging too. She just said that I said, why are you here? And she said, it's really important for everyone to know, thank you, that I'm okay, that I am safe, that piece, thank you. And as she does that, when I ask her why she's doing this, she's like, because she said, I was a little bit nervous about the transition, or about what it would be like when I passed. And this is why I need everyone to know that I'm okay.
Okay. Thank you.
There. And in that, she's also making me aware too, thank you, that I asked, what else does she want to share? She said, she said, I do, the profoundness of how much I care about everyone. She said, and as she does this, she makes me aware of the whole family. So I'm knowing she's talking about multiple generations. It's important for everyone to know that family was really important to me, and how much that I love them. And I wish that I had shared that more with everyone when I was here. She said, but it was my whole everything. And as she does that, she is really filling me with love there. She said it was everything for me. She said, and the way that I was allowed to transition, and she said the love that I felt in transition and as I transitioned was really important. She said, I also want to acknowledge everyone that cared for me and made sure that I was cared for, and pass that on to that, because she makes me aware that that wasn't just one person, there's multiple people that did that.
Okay.
There.
Thank you.
She's also, thank you. She's also acknowledging you. She said, and that's important. She goes, Bronwyn, it's not just the acknowledgement, she said, but it really is everything that you do. She said, you don't actually acknowledge yourself and how much that you do and what you do and how you maneuver through life. She said, and I need to acknowledge that you're not actually acknowledging yourself. Thank you. Don't do that. Acknowledging yourself as much as what you should. You actually just keep doing, and you don't actually stop to actually go, this is what I've achieved. And she said, and I want to make sure that you know how much that I see what you are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And as she does that, underneath that, she's like flooding me with love in every essence of my being as she's doing this too. And she said, and then she goes, thank you. She said, you are such a generous soul.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when I ask her for clarity on that, she said, you're generous in a way. She said, not just in your family. She said, you're actually generous with all those that are in your world. I actually did an action that looked like a kiss. Is there. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to let them both just stand here as they witness the closing off of our time together there, but know that they are both together. They are both very, very happy there. And that just as I turned away, I did see a very small dog come in that is also with them there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn.
Yeah. So thank you for allowing me to find you and work with you in this space.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Share this connection there. So I appreciate you allowing that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I said, platform mediumship is different to our traditional evidential mediumship because we have to do the connection super fast. Know that I could also feel quite a lot of people there, and because I definitely did hear an uncle there as well, and I know someone that I put their hand up, referenced an uncle. So I could feel them there too. Now, the interesting thing with platform mediumship, and I wanted to just share this as an awareness piece, if there were certain things in there that resonated with you, but that loved one did not seem like it was your loved one, what Spirit does do when there is a group reading situation is that they will delegate someone in Spirit to be the voice for multiple people. So if there was something in there that's like, oh, that part landed, but that part didn't, they will do that. It's called piggybacking, and they do it all the time in this type of situation there. So as I said, a little bit different to when we're doing our one-to-ones. In our one-to-ones, we get to be able to go through and identify them with a lot more information there. But you will see that I asked them to hang on to my hand. I am locking them into my energy, asking them for the details, names, how they passed. That type of information is so they lock into my field. When a longer reading, I can do that more, and so they will lock in far more secure. And I can get a lot more detail out of it, but we're doing this super, super fast as we're going through this. So there was teaching in that for those that witnessed that very fast connection there. The other thing with mediumship, and you will see that there was times where I'm like, no, that didn't fit. That's not the person, because I can feel if it feels right or not. Right, so I'm not going to work with someone where it kind of is close, even though, say for example, Michelle, I heard the word uncle. I'm aware that he was behind, but the other gentleman was in front of. So I went there first in that space. So 15 years of doing connections, teaching students, learning for myself. The problem is never ability. It really is about self-doubt. You will clearly see, like when I got in there, I'm like, I'm working really fast. I'm not going to let a no stop the connection of whatever else has to be unpacked. And if I had more time, I would have been able to understand why something didn't resonate, but we were going super fast. It is all about questioning and learning how to go deeper to be able to get more information to lock them in further there. So a lot of things that when we're picking them up, it is occurring, as I said, in our unconscious mind. 95% of your mind is unconscious. Only 5% is conscious. When we're doing this work, and we have to work a lot in our unconscious, and we're accessing information that is in our subconscious. So what that means is what we're mainly picking up is outside of our awareness. And this is why we will miss things there. So when we learn how to trust what we're getting, and we can go deeper and we can get more consistency in our connection there. When those students that have worked with me now, when someone finishes working with me, the graduates from the college, and some of them are here tonight, they charge anywhere from $150 to $250 a reading as a graduate, not even a fully experienced person. So the skills that they have are profound when we work together. There's also students that have worked with the college too, and some of them after 18 months, because they've been doing public readings, now have a profile worth over 18,000 followers. So the demand is there for highly skilled readers there. So you can take everything, and I've scattered teaching all the way through tonight. You can take what I have taught you. You can take the workbook that I give you, and you can try and piece that together. Some of you are going to do nothing with what I've shared with you tonight, and I fully understand that, and I appreciate it, and there is no judgment at all. Right? And that's going to be the piecing together, the first option. That's going to be a slow way to integrate what you are learning. It is also going to probably, if I think about it, 12 months from now, you're probably not going to be that much further along. If I'm truly honest with you, remember I told you I'm quite direct, right? So I did tell you that's how I am. There's another option if you want to really develop your skills, and it's taking the system that I have shared with others over the years, that I've developed over 15 years, to allow you to take the process to be able to connect to spirit and be able to get really accurate readings, in-depth readings. Those examples that I shared with you of having experiences of being able to do that with clients in those one-to-one settings there. It's for those people that really want to trust their connection, that are ready to get consistent results. The Eternal Soul course is the course that's going to get you there. Just like as I said, the students that are on the call tonight, and some of them are, will comment in the chat about it. For those that are ready to kind of go deeper into mediumship and what that connection looks like, I'm going to run you through over the next couple of minutes what the mediumship course entails. It's an in-depth course for those that, as I said, are ready to really dive deeper into what we're exploring here tonight. So in that, the mediumship course is called The Eternal Soul. It's covered over 4 months. We go on this journey. It starts next week. So it starts on the 31st of August at 7 p.m. for all those that are ready to really lean into mediumship. We're going to cover over the next 4 months a whole lot of things. It includes understanding the different styles of readings. So UK style, US style, the mind and mediumship, unconscious mind and conscious mind, how to have the correct position for the body. Did anyone notice that I changed my body and moved? There's a whole reason why I do that, so I don't connect in psychically to the client. That's why I looked over here where spirit was and I didn't look at the client. Our body position will impact whether we are going to be an ethical reader or not, if we're going to connect in psychically by accident. It also, we cover how your trauma impacts your connection. Who you can connect with will be impacted by anything that is unhealed in you. As we move into the next classes, we cover the structure of a reading, evidence, emotion, memory, message, right? Platform we didn't demonstrate it all tonight. That's what we cover in the course, because we obviously platform is faster. How to identify spirit quickly. Not everyone's going to be able to identify relationships super fast, a name super fast like that. So how do we identify the relationship? How do we identify spirit? How long have they been passed? Cause of passing? How do we get that kind of information? How to manage multiple spirits. We had 2 here tonight. We actually had more than 2. How do we manage that so we don't get confused and bombarded? Because that could have easily happened when I turned around and saw how many were there, but which ones were the ones that I wanted to work with. Moving through client blocks and managing client expectations. I did at the start telling you what we're going to do and what I needed for you, but in a one-to-one, we're going to go through that. There is so much more to managing client expectations. Then we move into really understanding pro tips on how to strengthen a connection. So actually how to hold a connection so you can hold it for 60 minutes or longer. Like, how can you actually do that? How can you make something unforgettable? Those moments in regards to, the father pushing the toilet button. How do you get those kind of moments there? What is spirit law and boundaries with them? They are like, sometimes, let me tell you, it is like herding cats. If you don't have boundary with spirit, they're going to come to you all different times of day and night, doing all kinds of crazy things. So how do you have boundaries with them so you can still move through life and don't look like you're crazy? And be able to connect with spirit too. So what does that look like? The evidence that you're overlooking, so making sure that you're not missing anything. I talked about it before, the layers of evidence, right? So how you're not missing things. Expressed it there in regards to when the brother came through and he was indicating he was just a little bit standoffish there. Is he someone that takes a little while to get to know a stranger? Is he someone that's a little bit more quiet in a group? Was this a little bit confronting for him? Like, in more time, we would have been able to unpack exactly why he was standing back a little bit, because he was demonstrating a lot of things in that space. There, how to channel spirit, channeling spirit and allowing to get really profound messages, allowing them to shift into that soul self. So how we can do that, how to increase the ways that our psychic senses work. So amplifying that, holding a strong connection, the significance of names and dates and how they work as links in a reading. Right? Professional phrasing in a reading, what that looks like. So we do not do harm on people. We don't trigger people. I use specific phrasing there for a reason. All the language that I use is intentional there. How do we stop our hit and miss connections? How do we stop those? How do we hold a strong connection? And how do we unpack things, particularly if we get a no, so we can get clarity around that? What does that look like? These are all things that we cover. We also cover what to get the spirit that clients want, their favorite dead person. Like, we all have it, right? So How do we get the one that they want? Not just the one that wants to talk, not just the chatty one. How do we get that? How do we elevate spirit? How do we get more out of them? How do we deal with unclaimed spirits, the ones that we can't identify? What do we do in that situation there? This is all things that we cover in this course. Then we are also covering professional delivery of a reading. What does that look like? The right questions to ask spirit. There are specific questions that we ask them, how to blend with them. Spirit just holding my hand is the start of it. The blend is so much more and so much more that we can actually do in that space. How to welcome spirit, but also how to work with spirits that are unwelcome. That Uncle Joe that no one wants to talk to, but he wants to talk to everyone. How do we manage that? How do we do that? How do we work with our actual filters, our subconscious filters, and what they are doing to block that? The information or filter it through and make it inaccurate, and how to handle challenging clients and traumatic topics. We cover all this in this course. It is an in-depth course. It is not circle. Some people think it is circle when you work with the college. You are not getting circle. Everything is in depth. This is 8 modules. There are 9 live coaching sessions. Each coaching session goes for a minimum of 90 minutes. You have online learning that you will work through at your own time and pace, made up of, as I said, those 9 modules. There are over 20 videos. There are meditations. There are practice exercises. There are workbooks. There are handouts. It is in depth. You also have a Facebook group, and on completion and meeting the requirements, there is a certificate for those that are seeking that. You also have ongoing support. When you finish studying with the college, unlike anywhere else, we don't just forget that you are part of our community. You actually are part of our community until you decide you don't want to be. That is where the value truly sits. So this course is normally $4,977 for people that work one-to-one for me. This happens once a year where I open it up in a group situation where you can join as a group cohort and we do it together. So it is valued. Normally you will purchase this course for $1,147, but because you're here tonight, for the next 2 days, there is a coupon code. The coupon code is going to be in the chat, but it is also on screen. If you enter this coupon code in the next 2 days into the purchase page, which is going to be in the chat, the actual course price is going to drop down to $897 is what it is. We have a payment plan also. The payment plan is made up of 9 payments. They happen every 2 weeks, $116. We have tried to make this accessible to as many people that feel drawn to change their mediumship as possible. As I said, we do it once a year in this way, and it is now because it is starting on Wednesday next week. I think it is. Yep, Wednesday. We accept all the ways to pay. So bank deposit, credit card. You ask for an invoice, we send it, and you can pay that way. You can pay with PayPal. It's totally up to you. Because I know what else mediums need, I've added a bonus, so I'm not finished yet. If you enroll tonight, I'm also giving you my channeling course. The channeling course is free. It includes Akashic Records too. So you're getting those 2 courses. They are valued at $532. And you've got lifetime access to those 2 free courses. The best part about this is that you're not doing it alone. You're actually supported and guided for those that are really ready to make a change in the way that they read. So you're not going to reinforce the old patterns that you have. Because if you're doing it alone, you're actually not going to grow. You're just going to keep doing what you've been doing, and the advancement that you're looking for is not going to be there. So with the support, we're going to be able to identify any old patterns that you have and change those there. Now, I understand that this is not for everyone. This is for those that are ready to elevate their mediumship is what it's for. So if this is sounding like this is for you, go ahead, secure your spot by all means. We offer a guarantee You can take this course, do the first module, attend the first class, and if this is not for you, we refund it because I want to share my IP, my knowledge, my 15 years of experience for those that resonate with me. I don't actually, if it doesn't resonate with you or I don't resonate with you, I set you free. Go and do what you want to do. Live your life. I wish you well and happiness. But for those that do resonate with me and do want to learn the skills that I've honed, by all means, then I want to share. You didn't get to hear this, but I am going to tell you this. I am, because I totally forgot. I am a spiritual master teacher. There is only 40 in the world. I am one of 5 in this country. I've put a lot of effort, training, and time into honing my skills, and here is the reason why. This is an unregulated industry globally. In this country, it needs a lot of structure under it. And the college has been created, and I put the effort into gaining the skills that I have. I've spent a lot of time and effort into that, so that whoever comes and learns from the college knows that there is a very strong foundation with some of the best knowledge that exists. My mentors are the 1%ers in the world. They are the people that have guided me and taught me, and I've brought it back to this country so we can have good quality mediums here. So people that are drawn to this can actually then have high level of skill and earn a decent living and doing something that you love and impacting lives. So this is why the college exists. Just so you know, that normally would have been at the front, but we didn't have our slideshow working tonight. That is so if this is feeling like this is for you here, you can definitely get your phone out, and this link's going to take you through to where you can check out, put the code in, do the thing. There's links in the chat. By all means, jump on. I look forward to anyone that wants to join me next week. The decision is totally yours. As I said, no pressure. I want to work with those that want to work with me. As I said, it is a once a year thing that we are doing. We only do it once a year for those that are ready to elevate their mediumship. If you've got any questions about the course, I'm going to stay on here for a couple of minutes. The book should be the booklet should be in the chat. It'll keep popping up, so keep looking at the chat there, because you'll be able to download it. Make sure you click on that, open that link before you jump off. Otherwise, when I close this call down, you will lose that link. So make sure you open it beforehand there. In that, if there's no questions or no one's got any questions that you want to ask me, if you do, you need to do a hashtag. Oh, how many hours? All right, thanks. So how many hours does it consist of? Self-study is really that's a kind of depends. It depends on how quickly you sort of go through the modules of reading, that type of thing. But I would normally say you would have to allow a couple of hours per week to be able to keep on top of it. It depends on how much practice you do. There is homework assigned. You will need to practice. That some people practice more than others. Some people don't even practice at all. That's not what I recommend. But I recommend that you practice in between the sessions. You do the homework that I ask you to, and you're going to need at least a couple of hours per week to be able to maneuver through this. You have access to the course for 12 months. The free courses, if you sign up tonight, you've got lifetime access, but the actual 12 months to complete the course. The live coaching goes for 4 months, but if you don't get all the theory done in that 4 months, you've got another 8 months to get it completed. And so you do have 12 months to do the whole course to allow you the time that you need, because I do appreciate that we all have lives, and this is to complement your life, not to be a burden. All right, so it is to complement what you do there. My mentors are Tony, Lisa Williams is my main mentor, and yeah, so Lisa Williams, and I'm part of, one of her teachers is what I am. I've taught in her community, as some of you may know, and yeah, and then yeah, so got a few mentors, but Lisa is my main one, and Tony Stockwell is my other mentor. So both awesome humans. Where do we sign up? The links should be in the chat. So the links are going in the chat. So keep checking the chat. Make sure that So all the links are in the chat. So guys, put the links in the chat for people. Keep putting them in there, please. Thanks. Yep, so you'll see them in there. So the links are in the chat. This time is crazy for me. Yeah, that's a great question. So every call is recorded. So all the live calls are recorded. If you can't attend live, that recording is available. Worst case scenario, the next morning. So you're able to watch it and not miss out on anything there. And even in the practice space, while we have practice in our live calls, if you can't attend the live call, there is a community that you can go and practice in. We have a support community on Facebook where you can go and do volunteer readings to be able to hone your skills. But everything is recorded. So because we have students all around the world, and sometimes because of the time zone, they're unable to attend live. And so that's why we have those recordings there. So, yep. And just if you've got a question, do hashtag Q so I can see them, because it's all getting with everything else. I have 0 skills. Is this suitable for complete beginners? If we're a complete beginner, my recommendation is this is not where I would say to start. Anyone that is a complete beginner, I would say the course is the Intuition Amplified, and that starts in October. Is what's in my brain. So I'm pretty sure it's October. So that's for beginners where I would say to start there. All right. Do this course without doing. Okay. So the question here is, can you do this course without doing the previous 2 courses? Now, we do assumed learning. So you don't have to have done the other courses to do this course. To be able to do the mediumship course, you need to have an awareness on how you receive information. So psychic senses. Do I see, hear, feel, know? You have to have that as an awareness piece because that is assumed knowledge. I'm not going to teach you those psychic senses. So I'm going to assume that you know how you work in that space. If you don't know that, then this is not the right course for you, and you would go into the Intuition Amplified course. But if you do know that, then Tanya's just signed up. Welcome, Tanya. Then you would, if you know your psychic senses, then yes, you can go into this. So for sure. Yeah. Yep. So as Miriam says, you can see in the chat, she's in Norway and she's completed the course. And the recordings are very helpful. So she is one of our international students. So there. Okay. Wednesday night is the classes. All right. Just seeing any other questions. If you've written it a long time ago, I might not see it, so you might have to type it again for me, just so I can see. Okay. Okay, I have done psychic awareness and some medium study, but not been successful for me. All right, so I can't comment on what psychic awareness, the courses that you've done, Samson. But my thing is, I mean, I've been able to teach people this. So I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to, everyone's going to be at the same spot, but I can guarantee that everyone can make a connection. If this is a thing, right? So if you're blocked, right, and I know I'm talking to whoever Samson is, but if you are blocked in any way and something's not happening for you, that is not about I can't do mediumship. That is more about a belief system that we would need to unpack. There will be something sitting in your psychology that is causing a block that we would need to look at to explore what that is. Right. So, and I know a lot of teachers don't cover those components, and that's why it takes a while to move through blocks. But your psychology is going to have a big impact on how you show up as a psychic, medium, healer, all those things. It just does. Okay. I think I would per level 2 before level 3 is so. Yep. Natalie, someone will reach out to you in regards to level 2. So once again, level 2 is our psychic development course. So if we're not ready for mediumship and we feel like psychic is the space for us, then it is available. I've done the Intuit too. Can I do this? Yes, Shirley, you can, by all means, because you definitely can. All right, so just seeing any other questions. Make sure you've got that booklet that was in the chat. Put it in the chat again for anyone that needs that link, please. Make sure we're doing that there. Yeah, all right, just seeing what else. Clicked on the hand and do I get a book? All right, so do I get the book? I'm a bit hard of hearing and slow pressing. Sorry. It's okay. Sorry, I talk so fast. Blame spirit. I can't help it. I have to talk fast to be able to keep up with what they are saying to me. Otherwise, I can't get it all out. All right. So if there's any other questions, put them there. If not, I'm going to jump off and set you all free. There, for those that are wishing to spend some time with me, spend 4 months with me, hang out with me, have some laughs, learn a whole lot of things, jump on the links. They're all in the chat. Make sure that you get on that. You're going to get a recording of this sent out tomorrow. So if you didn't take notes, if you missed all the little clues that I was giving you about teaching, you'll be able to go through and watch it again to write them down. So that will be available to you. So keep an eye out for that. If it doesn't come in your inbox, check your spam, check your junk, because sometimes it gets put somewhere else in your email. So definitely do that. Remember, for those that join up tonight, you will get access to the channeling course and the Akashic Record course for free. The discount is available for 2 days only, then it's going back to its full price. And I will tell you that next year it will be a different price. It will not be the same price, guys. It will be a different price next year. I don't know what it is, but it will be for sure. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all the love that's in the chat. I'm overseas and with some classes. It is totally okay, Shirley, if you miss some classes, because everything is recorded. Everything is recorded there. So thank you. Hopefully you have learned some things. I would love to have some awareness of what that is. If you're not in the Facebook group, join the Facebook group, share what you've learned tonight in that Facebook group. The link is in the chat. Make sure girls put it in the chat. The link is in the chat for joining our Facebook group. So I'd love to stay connected with you in that space. Have an awesome evening. This will be left open just for another 5 to 10 minutes. So if you need to get any links, do that. And then we will be closing it down. Thank you again for being part of it. Hopefully you've taken some things away that you can go and embed within your learning. Have an awesome evening. Bye.
Bye.